Before I get into this video, once again, I want to thank you guys for the support. And this is kind of like piggyback on the last video I did but we're gonna be talking more into my personal feeling about Xbox in general. I am going to be going live starting this weekend, and hopefully you guys come through and take part in the chat. Also, that may be a daily thing. Hopefully, but I'm going to start this weekend. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. There will not be any gameplay in this video. It's just going to be me talking. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from, and I hope you guys enjoy. It was mid-November 2001. It was right after I was pretty, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was pretty devastated about the Dreamcast not really being around. And mid-November, I wanted to do everything I can to get this original Xbox. So what I did was I saved money and I purchased it mid-November 2001. And I thought it was the second coming of the Dreamcast. It was made by Microsoft. They had the 4 ports that you see like on the Xbox. The controller was pretty much the same. A lot of Sega games were coming over to the original Xbox as exclusives. I was having a great time. And I remember that time I was in college, and I bought like the first few games, first party games, and I always felt like this was it. I felt like I had the best, the most powerful console on the planet, and at the time, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. It's more powerful than the PS2, and I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt that even though PlayStation had the more flashier games, I just felt like Xbox was just going to be something different. It was going to go against the grain. It was going to be something that, still on the top, on top with everybody else, but it was just doing its own thing, kind of like what Nintendo Switch is doing right now. But 24, 25 million, copies or consoles sold later, they did not do the best and lost a lot of money with the first Xbox. I understand that. And the 360 came. And I bought the 360, and I was pretty cool with it. It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same feeling I had with the original Xbox, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But I knew once they started doing backwards compatibility with the 360, I knew that I felt like it was much more a solidified choice that I made. I was, I guess back then you didn't call them fanboys, but I was one of the original Xbox supporters. I supported them from day one. I was waiting for them to come out with their games, with their consoles. Me coming from a big Dreamcast fan, I felt like this was it. Now, don't get me wrong. I still played the PlayStation 2. I still, played other games, but I just felt like for me, Priority One was the original Xbox. And to this day, I still collect for the original Xbox. And the 360 did amazing things. Online was great. Xbox Live was really cool. Some of the games ran better than the PS3. And you felt like everything was, was going to happen what was great. Unfortunately, I think they came in third place in that generation, which, I don't really care about that stuff. But I'm pretty sure Xbox did not like the fact that that came out that way. And then it came onto the Xbox One. And this is where things started to fall apart. Immediately, the way the Xbox One was advertised, I did not really support it. I did not like it. And I felt like at the end of the day, even though I was still in between the 360 and the PS3, I felt like I was just gonna go and jump to the PS4. And that was gonna be solely. I did buy PS1. I mean, I'm sorry, I did buy an Xbox One around the same time, but I just was not enthused. It just wasn't the thing. And I always felt that at least with the Xbox One, it was going to still try to be or go back to what they did with the original Xbox. Just try to be innovative, try to be, the more powerful console, the console that really not just push the limits of games, but push the limits of, immersion and gameplay and all this other stuff. When the original Xbox came out, you had a lot of games that were like just different. Now, some PC games came over, but they took you to a different world. Like the PlayStation 2, don't get me wrong, that library is absolutely amazing, but those games were just more on the side of kind of a continuation of PS1. Yes, there were some games that were new and they're amazing. They're still amazing to this day. I have those games, The Xbox was just a little bit different. It just felt like that the Xbox was on a different path in the gaming world. And I always felt like the Xbox One was going to be that game or be that console to take it back to that. Even though the 360 took it to another level, it kind of lost its way from the original Xbox. Now, with the Xbox One, you got the Xbox One X, which that console is basically back to the roots of the original Xbox based on power. But by then, Xbox was not, they just was not what I thought they would be. I remember watching the documentary on the Xbox. I think it's like a 6-part documentary. It was a really good one. But I just watched it, and the entire time I thought it was fascinating. But I always felt like, why Xbox just could not just continue to be their own thing and just try to push the limits of what they could do as a Microsoft company, as a PC company that can bring somewhat of a PC type atmosphere to consoles. It's one of the things that's really was disheartening once the Xbox One came out, because first and foremost, it wasn't the most powerful console. They waited to the Xbox One X, which I thought it was a pretty masterful piece of tech. But I did a video about that a while back. I put that up on in the cards or whatever. My Xbox One is dead, so I have no reason to. I mean, I ain't say I have no reason. I just cannot play my my Xbox One anymore, and I just don't have any reason to buy another one. I'll be quite honest. The games on there, I don't feel like they're worth purchasing. Physical copies of games they just don't feel good buying. Some of the games aren't all on disc. I'm really concerned about the state of Xbox going forward. They basically left us behind. They left the original Xbox guys who really wanted to see different games that were, that was unique. They were fun, and they did something. They did things their own way. I kind of wish the Xbox would have done what Nintendo has done with their games post, even when you can say post GameCube. You see what they did with the Wii, you see what they did with the Wii U, and you see what they did with the Switch. Even though the Wii U was not as successful, those games on there are absolutely phenomenal, and they're very unique. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of Wii U games are on the Switch right now. If Xbox would have just tried their best to do that type of thing throughout the 360 Xbox One life, I believe they wouldn't be in this situation. But no, they went to Game Pass. They started doing this other stuff. And Game Pass, believe it or not, at this point, it's not sustainable. I backed out of Game Pass because it's just that I just don't feel comfortable playing those games. I just don't know what it is. I played a few games on there, but it's just something about, I don't know if y'all guys feel the same way, but it's just something about playing those particular games through Game Pass. It just feels kind of off. It just something doesn't feel right. Maybe because I'm an old school guy. Like I said, I've been playing games since the late 80s, believe it or not. I mean, a lot of people may think I'm a lot younger, but no, I've been playing games since 85, 87. I've been around for a very long time. And I felt like the original Xbox was going to be that console that it kind of would complete the whole ecosystem of gaming. Kind of like what PC gamers got right now. Their ecosystem is absolutely great. Sony is a little bit on shaky ground right now. And right now, Nintendo's ecosystem has always been what it was. It's pretty much still the same. But Xbox, their ecosystem is like all over the place. It doesn't really feel solidified anymore. I think after the 360, it kind of like broke off and just went all over the place. Now you got first party games, some of them are probably moving to third party, not third party, but other consoles and other games going this place and that place. And they don't really seem like they believe in their console box, which is fine, because at the end of the day, these consoles are, what they are now. They're not as unique as they used to be. Like back then, like this original Xbox, it has so much charm and uniqueness to it. It's pretty awesome. You look at Xbox One, Xbox Series right now, it just looks like a mini PC. And it just doesn't feel it doesn't feel like the entire space of Xbox is what it was. It's totally different now. They're losing, they're getting rid of companies now. It just does not feel like the edgy next generation going all in on technology, pushing the limits, letting you know what the real deal is when it comes to pushing graphics and fidelity and playability. All that stuff is out the window. It's one of the reasons why even when I cut on an original Xbox game right now, I still feel that charm. That 480p, believe it or not, everybody's talking about 4K, everybody's talking about 1440p, but that 480p game that runs smooth as butter, that has its own aesthetic to it. It has its own, it has its own visual capabilities. So I'm like, nothing to me, nothing looks, more beautiful than Forza 1 on a flat screen. Hell, it doesn't even, it looks great on a CRT. Like those games that, you look at Dead or Alive 3, which that looks great on Xbox, One, X right now, or Xbox Series. That looks great. I did a video about that. But when you look at these games from back then, even if you just, put them on a computer monitor with the HDMI adapter, or even if you want to use your old, component cables that, that they have out, and you just hook it up to a TV that accepts it, you put it through an upscaler. The Xbox, those games still look absolutely great to this day. And it just captured a time where gaming felt like it felt something like it was different. It didn't feel mainstream. It didn't feel like it was the norm. It just felt like it immersed you to another world. Like the original Xbox basically put you in that position where it was just a different type of gaming that you went into. And don't get me wrong, PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, that whole sixth generation, even in some cases with the Xbox 360, PS3, and even the PS4, and, those take you back in time as well and make you feel like you're in a different space. You're in a different atmosphere. Even the ones prior to the sixth generation. But now you look at, I don't even want to talk about the PS5 because the PS5 kind of suffers from this too. But definitely the Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, I don't even know what they seem like now. They don't have any unique games. Even the third party games that used to come out on the original Xbox, or even the 360, they was just a different experience than the PS2 and the GameCube. And and like I said, there's nothing to take away from the other console generation, or not generations, but nothing to take away from the other consoles of that generation. But it was just something about the original Xbox that made me feel like it was just a awesome experience. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think there's ever a console that's gonna make us have that feeling again. Maybe for the younger guys who are just now experiencing gaming. But if you're a guy like me who's been around for the last 20 years minimum, because I've been around, since the 80s, so that's going on almost 30, 40 years. But if you've been around for the last 20 years, you may not get another console that feels that way. It's unfortunate, because it's awesome just to bring a console home that looks different, feels different, and it's nothing like what you see out there. And you cut on that Xbox, you cut on that Dreamcast, you cut on that PlayStation 2, you cut on that PlayStation 1, and it just feels like it's a different world you're experiencing. Now these consoles, I guess they just feel like watered down PCs, and it can't even match with the PC. Because even with the PC, I have a PC right here. Even with the PC, you do have that kind of immersion. I think Xbox just lost its way. They left the original supporters a long time ago, and it's just not the same. Well, I just wanted to rant and let you guys know about that. I knew I was going to be a while. I didn't want to put any gameplay on this. I really just wanted to talk about this because after what happened on the last video, it just made me realize, this is crazy. It's really crazy. So, I'll see you guys on the next one, man. I'm gonna play some games, man. And like I said, man, hopefully you guys want to check out the live stream. I'll be doing live streams later. On probably start next week, and hopefully I'll see y'all guys then. All right, y'all. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. I'm out. Peace.